Alright, so the intro is done to have a pre-information about everything, because it makes no sense to dive into the topic and you don't have the pre-information. It's very important. Yeah, you can do something in 1 billion different ways. So, you know now for what people is the approach. So high performance, focus, high concentration, business, students, people who need a high work capacity, and who practice bodybuilding, fitness, and want to look good all year round. Okay, that's how I optimized my vegan lifestyle. And first of all, everybody who thinks, or in 2024, that you have deficiencies when you go vegan has zero clue. Run away from these people. They are on level 1. So it makes no sense to talk with these people. The protein thing I already explained several years ago. Super easy. I only consume 120 to 130 grams of protein per day. I don't consume any meat substitutes, products, or artificial products, fortified products. All my protein I consume is coming from legumes, vegetables, hemp, a lot of hemp, nuts, seeds. For people who don't know what legumes are beans, lentils, chickpeas, for example, all kinds of beans, lentils, chickpeas, peas, also edamame, all these things. So now we have all the grains also. For example, 1 kilogram of potatoes, guys, has 20 grams of protein. And why do people don't know all these things? Because they don't track their stuff. People don't track their nutrition and always tapping in the dark, never knowing what's going on. It's like you have a bank account, and due to the fact that we eat every day, you are using that bank account, but you never know what's going on there. So the same with the car example in the last videos. Our body is exactly the same. When we don't have the data, when we don't have the numbers, everything's shit. I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, but when you don't know your food intake, you don't know what's going on. And that's why it's so easy to hit 120 grams of protein alone with all the carbohydrate sources. When you eat 100 grams of rice, is already 9 grams of protein. 1 kg of potatoes is already 20 grams of protein. And all the legumes, all the hemp seeds, sprouts is a big component I consume. And I consume every day 1 protein shake, a vegan protein shake, of course. As everybody knows, Sun Warrior is my brand. I use it since 6-7 years. It's so easy. So easy. So 120 grams to 130 of plant-based protein. Carbohydrates, I'm on 300 to 400. I have high and low days. I don't want to go into deep, it's more for bodybuilding, but for the most people here, 300 to 400 grams of carbs. Of course, fruits, berries, bananas. I live in Thailand, so I have a lot of mangoes, coconut water, papaya, all kinds of fruits. I don't have any fruit I cut out. Fruits. Rice, typical bodybuilding staple. Rice, and when I say rice, I mean of course white rice. I keep my fiber intake as low as possible because it's just leading to digestive overstimulation. And with my 3,300 calories, when I would eat like a hippie vegan, a pudding vegan, or all these things, I would have a lot of digestive work going on. I would feel bloated, and I would not have the performance at the gym because my digestion is always working. So I keep it simple. That's white rice. Also with the oats, guys, I don't consume so much oats because, again, I keep fiber as low as possible. As all of you know, I'm also doing intermittent fasting. So I keep my digestive system on such a low activity that I'm always on point. Yeah, fiber is, for a Western American person or a person who has zero idea from nutrition, for these people, fiber is important. But for all people who have an idea of nutrition and already are pretty healthy, it only leads to digestion problems and overstimulation of the bowel movements. You're always bloated, water retention. So for health-oriented people, keep fiber low. It's a typical vegan problem. I coach so many people who went vegan and had a lot of digestive issues because they're always adding fiber and brown rice and whole wheat, always the whole wheat stuff. Keep fiber low as a vegan, and then you have zero digestive issues. So fruits, rice, potatoes, of course, especially when I want to ripping down my body fat to keep satiety levels high, because potatoes have the highest satiety index. I've also mentioned that several times. If you want to get ripped, eat potatoes. Simple. It keeps you so full, you don't want to eat anymore. These are my predominant carbohydrate sources. Of course, also quinoa, amaranth, bulgur, buckwheat, teff is another thing, rice and corn. Corn is also, and of course gluten-free, as all of you know, because I say it. Since 10 years, I'm gluten-free. I have gluten in my nutrition, so no pasta. When I eat pasta, it's of course rice pasta or corn, but no bread or processed stuff. Yeah, and fat, nuts, seeds, predominantly. Nuts and seeds. Don't have so much avocados. Once in a while an avocado, but predominantly nuts, seeds, because I want to eat. A lot of people consume so much fat and don't realize it in a dressing or when they eat something in a sauce. It's like they drink water, but it's fat. 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. It's like drinking sugary drinks. That's why I eat nuts. I eat nuts because keep me full. I eat something, and of course I just don't eat random nuts. I know my amount of nuts. I eat around 50 grams of nuts per day. I consume 50 to 60 grams of fats per day. So now you have all my macronutrients. 50 grams of fats, 300 to 400 grams of carbohydrates, 120 to 130 of protein. It's pretty simple. I have this macro ratio since several years, and of course my metabolism adapted because I've built up with this more muscle mass. I'm heavier now. I started with 68 kg. No, sorry man, 63 kg. I've started everything and now I'm on 77 kg. 77 kg, 10% body fat. So gained 14 kg pure muscle mass, pure vegan. Yeah, because there are also people out there who always say, yeah, he has built up his body with meat. No, I've built up everything with plants. Because you see, before I was skinny with 63 kilograms on the photo on Instagram, and now I'm 77, and here I was vegan and here I was vegan. So I have not built up anything with meat or animal products. So these are the most important things you need to know, because these are the things what work. It are the macros. It's the purpose you have, the goal you have. You have to know, my nutrition, to what goal does it lead? Yeah, and not just, nutrition, I eat anything. You need a plan. You have to be smart. You have to be intelligent. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know your fuel. You have to know what's going on. Where's the food coming from? Is it real food? Is it loaded with pesticides? And don't be like these mainstream people. And now you know my macro breakdown. You know also I'm fasting. So how does a typical day look for me? I stand up at 5 or 6 a.m. You know my morning routine, going out, fasting all the time. I don't eat anything until 2 p.m. Then I have a smoothie, most of the time, 30 grams of vegan protein powder, fruits, greens, everything has roughly 300 to 500 calories. So yes, sugar, I consume a lot of sugar because I can eat a lot of sugar because my metabolism is high. Everybody who says sugar is toxic or sugar is bad, run away. They have no idea from human physiology and how our cells are working. Yeah. When you have a lot of muscle mass, you have a storage in your system. It's called glycogen. And you need full glycogen stores to lift heavy weights. Of course, for an average Joe who is sitting in an office, he cannot invest so much into sugar, because he's unhealthy, has no activity, zero muscle mass, obese, all that lost people. But when you're active, when you are also with your work, we need glucose in our brain when you are an active person, work a lot, help a lot of people. When you're undercarbed, you are feeling like you have no brain. So he's important. That's why I have all these fruits, all the protein. 3 to 4 hours later, I have my pre-workout meal. It's most of the time cream of rice, roughly 70 to 80 grams cream of rice. I put hot water over it with a whisk, and fruits again, most of the time bananas, nuts, seeds, hemp powder. You can check everything on Instagram. I've posted it already several times. That's my pre-workout meal. Keeps me loaded, keeps my muscles full, keeps my glycogen storage full. I have protein in my meal. So it has also roughly 700 to 800 calories, 50 grams of protein, 150 grams of carbohydrates, 10 grams of fats. After working out is my overeating phase. So what's the overeating phase? The most things are done. I've tackled all my goals. I've done my work. I also had my pre-workout, my smoothie. I've also mastered the workout. So now it's 7 p.m., 8 p.m. And now I have all my calories open. So most of the time I can eat still 2,000 calories. And most of the time it's a big bowl with potatoes, legumes. You know my bowls, big giant bowls. Potatoes, beans, lentils, vegetables. What has the highest amount of calories? Also 70 grams of protein, because with all the beans, the potatoes, or when it's rice or quinoa, it's all this accumulated food. It's all the amounts is so high. You can track on Chronometer, MyFitnessPal, or FTDB. When you type in 1 kg of potatoes, 1 tin of beans, then 500 grams of broccoli, a salad, also maybe nuts and seeds. This has so much, it has 70 to 80 grams of protein. So you see, dinner, 80 grams of protein, pre-workout, 30 grams of protein, smoothie, 30 grams of protein, or accumulated 130, 140, always like this. When I overdo it with protein, so I smash 140, 150, I reduce the next day, that I keep my calories same. So pretty simple. I don't want to make it too long. I could make 1 million more videos, and I keep it short now. Again, this pretty simple explained video is for performance vegans, what of course not most people are, bodybuilding purposes, staying lean, staying ripped, being always in shape, and having high energy levels. Yeah, well, with intermittent fasting, low meal frequency, and that's it, guys. Of course, I could talk way more, but I don't want to overdo it. Now I have made a vegan statement, what I say after 11 years of veganism. And of course, there are 1 billion other things I could say, but these are the most important things, that it works, and it works for my purposes. And also my blood levels are on point. I make every 3 to 4 months blood checks, all is on point, everything. And why is it on point for me and for others not? Because I know the amount of my food. I know the fuel, what is coming into my body. And not guessing. People always, when say intuitive eating, forget it. You can do this, I can do that, because I do this since 10 years. But an average Joe out there who is thinking he knows everything, you see it on the body. The body is always showing what's going on. Yeah, there can be a doctor who is smoking, fat, obese, forget it. A body is always, it's not lying, you know. You cannot fake it. And maybe not everybody's understanding what I say already, but you can rewatch it again and again until you understand everything. So the major problem is not the protein. The major problem are the carbohydrates. In fitness bubble or in health bubble in general, people always hyping protein so much is important. But of course they do it because they want to sell the protein powder. But the major reason why most people build no muscle mass is because they have no filled up glycogen stores. They avoid carbohydrates. And our muscles, 80%, 90% of our muscles is water. And glycogen is pulling water into the muscle cells, what is giving us this, you know, this boom. The veins are coming out. It's like a sponge. And when there are no carbs, yeah, skinny as fuck, zero muscles. A muscle needs carbs to come in its full potential. Yeah, it's like the gasoline for an engine. Yeah, 50, 60 years ago, people knew all that, but nowadays people are so lost, overhyped protein, and are completely out of reality. So I want to make it short, it's not coming over the 20 minutes. Send this video, send this link to people who have no clue about veganism. A lot of people need it, and of course I don't force anybody, but I told you now how I do it, 100% transparent. And if you have questions, guys, you can always reach out to me. If you have the knowledge, it is so simple.